I told her not to go. Not quietly, not carefully, not in the polite little half phrases couples use when they're trying to dodge a fight. I said it the way a man speaks when he feels the foundation under his feet shifting, when he senses that something small, almost trivial on the surface, is actually the crack that reveals the whole structure has been compromised. I stood in the kitchen, hands braced on the counter like I was holding up the last beam of a collapsing house. "You're not going to Marcy's party," I said. Amber turned from the hallway mirror, her lipstick halfway to her mouth, the applicator hovering in midair. She stared at me like she wasn't sure if I was joking or if I had finally lost it. "Excuse me, you heard me." She blinked once, slowly, deliberately. Her dress shimmered like wet ink in the warm kitchen light, a deep blue fabric that clung to her body in a way that made it clear she didn't pick it for subtlety. The moment stretched long and fragile. "It's a party, Tyler," she said. "Not a strip club, not a scandal, just a party, and Marcy's been my friend for years. And in all those years," I said, voice low and steady, "has she ever hosted a party where people didn't drink until the lines blurred? Where someone didn't accidentally slip off a wedding ring, or forget they had one on in the first place?" Amber rolled her eyes so hard it was almost theatrical. "You sound pathetic." "No," I snapped. "I sound like a husband trying to keep his wife from walking straight into a situation she's going to pretend was what it was." She laughed at that, a short, dry, brittle sound. "This is why I don't tell you things. You twist everything." "I don't need to twist anything," I shot back. "You do it all yourself." She froze, just for a second. I saw it in her eyes, the flash of truth landing where she didn't want it to land. Then she turned away, adjusting the straps on her dress with more force than necessary. "You know what your real problem is. You want to control everything. You always have." She grabbed her clutch from the counter. "But news flash, Tyler, I'm not yours to manage." "You're right," I said quietly. "You're not mine to manage, but you are my wife, and if you walk out that door tonight, just know this: I'm watching. Not with anger, with clarity. Because this isn't about a party, it's about the choices people make when no one is stopping them." She crossed her arms and stared at me, ready for a duel. "You done with the speech?" "No," I said, "but you're clearly done listening." She started walking toward the door, heels tapping against the tile, each step punctuated with defiance. "Halfway there," I said, "if you walk out like this, don't expect me to wait up. Not anymore." Amber paused. Her hand rested on the doorknob. She turned her head just slightly. "Maybe," she said, her voice laced with poison. "You shouldn't have married someone like me if you wanted quiet nights and thank you notes." "And maybe," I replied, "you shouldn't have married someone who notices everything." She blinked just once, and then she was gone. The door closed softly behind her, but the sound echoed through the house like glass cracking under pressure. I stood there for a long while, the hum of the refrigerator the only thing filling the silence. My arms hung at my sides, fists slowly unclenching. This wasn't the first time she pushed a boundary, but tonight, something about it felt different, heavier. Final, Amber could charm rooms without trying. Out there, she was all sparkle and laughter. In here, in the kitchen we built together, all that shimmer felt like a lie. And I wasn't going to let it go unchallenged anymore. 7:00 p.m. The house stayed silent. No call, no message, not even the pretense of courtesy. I didn't expect one. What I expected was exactly what she was doing, disappearing into a night she didn't want me to have any details about. So I walked into my office, sat behind my desk, tapped my phone. A name hovered at the top of recent calls. Kayla, my assistant, bright, loud, loyal enough to jump when I said jump. And tonight, I needed her loyalty. She answered on the second ring. "Hey, boss, everything okay? Can you come by the house tonight?" There was a beat barely perceptible but real. "Tonight, nothing inappropriate," I said. I need help with something small, but visual. Silence. Then I'll be there. When Kayla arrived, the sun had dipped low behind the trees, bleeding streaks of orange across the hardwood floor. She stepped inside wearing ripped jeans, a cropped sweater, and a perfume so sweet it hit like a punch. "Wow," she said, glancing around the kitchen. "Didn't expect this vibe." I handed her a cutting board. "We're cooking," she blinked. "Cooking what?" "Steak, roasted vegetables, red wine." Her smile faltered. "So romantic." "Not romantic," I said, slicing into a bell pepper. "Calculated." That got her attention. "You trying to make someone jealous?" she asked. "No. I'm trying to remind someone what clarity looks like." She didn't ask more questions after that. She understood her role. Presence, noise, implication. We cooked. We ate together at the dining table Amber and I bought 2 years ago. I intentionally used the wine glasses from our wedding set. Kayla laughed too loudly. Her perfume was too strong. Her conversation was too bright. That was the point. Later, she followed me upstairs, fully clothed. No intimacy, no ambiguity beyond the optics of shared space. A performance, curtains drawn, stage set. 3:00 a.m. The door slammed open. Amber stood there, hair a mess, mascara streaked, a half-empty bottle dangling from her hand. She froze when she saw us. "What the hell is this?" Kayla sat up, still dressed, still on her side of the bed. "You must be Amber," she said. Amber's voice cracked like glass. "Get out of my house." Kayla raised a brow. "You disappeared for hours without a word, and now you're mad he didn't sleep alone." Amber's eyes burned into mine. "So this is your game, tit for tat." "No game," I said. "Just a mirror." Her lip trembled. "You don't get to play the victim while you're lying in our bed with her." Kayla stood. "I think I'll go." I nodded. "Thank you." She left without another word. Amber stood trembling, eyes full of fury and something darker recognition. "You don't even care," she whispered. "I do," I said, "just not in the way you expect." Later that week, the party Kyle and Jenna's backyard smelled like sunscreen, burgers, and forced politeness. A toddler birthday party, wrong place, wrong time, wrong people for drama. Amber lit up for the crowd. New dress, perfect makeup, laughter that echoed just a little too bright to be real. She floated between circles with a wine glass that never emptied. Then she did it. "So," she announced loudly, "has everyone met Tyler's new assistant, the one who smells like a car air freshener?" Laughter flickered uneasy. Amber wasn't done. "It's amazing," she continued, swirling her drink. "I go out for one night and suddenly he's got blondes in my bed." Then, "That's rich coming from you." Amanda. Her oldest friend. Everyone turned. "Maybe don't throw stones." Amanda said coldly, "When you were grinding on strangers at Marcy's club last Friday." The backyard froze. I turned to Amber. "Is that true?" She opened her mouth, closed it. Color drained from her face. She walked away. But the damage was already done. Later, the conversation with Amanda, we stepped aside, away from the noise. "Amanda," I said, "tell me exactly what you saw." "I only say things I can prove," she replied, and she told me. Amber arriving already buzzed, dancing with men, settling into a booth with one, laughing, letting him wrap an arm around her. Not innocent, Tyler, not even close. The truth hit like a slow, heavy weight, not dramatic, not explosive, just undeniable. The club no footage needed. The next day I went to Club Velvet. No cameras in the booths. No cooperation. No help. But no denial either. Their silence said everything. Amber had done something. Maybe not catastrophic, but enough. Enough to cross a line. The pretend dinner when I got home. Amber was cooking. Chicken marsala, candles lit, table set, her voice soft, her face carefully gentle, her tone repentant. She wanted to rewrite the story. I let her cook, let her talk, let her pretend. Then I stepped into my office and called Nate. "It's time, start the paperwork." I looked toward the cracked door. Amber stood there, silently watching. And for the first time she looked afraid. Next morning, Amber woke early, coffee ready, music low, smile soft. The perfect wife, perfect timing, perfect lies, and for the first time, I didn't feel guilty for seeing through it. I felt nothing. The room felt colder than before, as if Arya's presence had drawn all the warmth out of the air. Alex stood there silently, the echo of her last words still ringing in his mind like a distant bell. He couldn't unhear. "You think kindness is a strategy," Arya had said. "You think empathy is strength. In the real world, those things are liabilities." Her voice lingered in his thoughts long after she walked away. But the truth was far more complicated than she cared to admit, and Alex, whether he realized it or not, had already begun pulling apart the walls around her. A new tension builds the rest of the afternoon, unfolded like a slow, burning fuse. Arya tried to drown herself in work, approvals, contracts, emails, investor messages, board member complaints, another crisis, another emergency. Her usual rhythm would have taken over, cold, mechanical efficiency. But every time she lifted her gaze from her screen, she saw him. Alex wasn't looking at her. He was helping a junior designer who was struggling with a software glitch. He was showing the intern how to organize a folder system. He was texting someone briefly, probably his daughter's babysitter, with a faint smile on his lips. None of this should have bothered her, but it did, deeply. The memory of their lunch wouldn't fade. She replayed it in her mind even when she didn't want to. The way he listened, the way he didn't flinch at her sarcastic remarks, the way he didn't try to impress her, the way he asked one simple question that felt like a sword sliding under her armor. When was the last time someone asked what you wanted, not what you could deliver? It shouldn't have mattered. But it did, more than she was ready to admit. The storm she didn't expect by 4 p.m. Arya's composure began to crack, not visibly, but internally. A storm was building in her chest, twisting tight like a knot of fear and curiosity. She stood up. "I need the conference room," she said sharply to no one in particular. Everyone scattered instantly, as usual. But Alex noticed her shaking hand as she closed the conference room door behind her. He wasn't supposed to, but he did. A quiet knock 20 minutes passed, then a soft knock. Arya didn't look up. "Occupied?" she said, her voice clipped cold. Another knock, then a pause. "It's me," Alex said calmly. She froze, the last voice she expected or wanted to hear in that moment. But something inside her shifted. She cleared her throat. "Enter." The door opened slowly, as if even the hinges were afraid of her. Alex stepped in, closing the door behind him without a sound. "Why did you walk away earlier?" He didn't sit. He didn't posture. He didn't act like she was a boss to impress or fear. He simply looked at her with a steady, unshaken gaze. Arya hated that she felt exposed. "I didn't walk away," she replied sharply. "I ended a pointless conversation." It didn't feel pointless. She inhaled sharply through her nose. "Everything I do has a purpose." Then what was the purpose of leaving the table? That question cut through her like a blade. Her jaw tightened, her fingers curled on the desk, her perfect posture stiffened into a brittle line. "You don't get to question me," she whispered. "I'm not questioning you as my boss," he said gently. "I'm asking you as a human being." That word, human, burned. She felt the ground shift under her. No one talked to her like that. No one dared. No one cared enough. Her walls began to crack for a moment. Arya didn't speak. She couldn't. Her chest ached in a way she didn't understand, like air pushing against a sealed door. Finally, she looked away. "Arya," Alex said quietly, "you don't have to do everything alone." She snapped her gaze back to him. "Yes," she whispered, "I do. It doesn't have to be like that." Her voice trembled barely. "You don't understand. People like me, we don't get second chances. We don't get to be vulnerable. We don't get to make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Not when the world is waiting for you to fail." The rawness in her voice startled even her. She had never said those words aloud. Not to anyone, certainly not to an employee she had known for only a few hours. The unexpected apology silence hung in the air like fog. Then Alex did something she didn't expect, something that disarmed her completely. "I'm sorry," he said softly.
Her eyes widened. For what? For judging you earlier, for assuming you were only the version of yourself people talk about, for thinking you were cold when maybe you're tired.
She swallowed hard. Her throat felt tight. Her heart felt heavy. Her voice came out smaller than she wanted. "Oh, why are you being kind to me?" He smiled gently. "Because everyone deserves kindness, especially the people who never receive it." Her eyes glistened before she forced herself to blink it away. No one could see her crack, no one, except he already had. A moment too close, Alex took one step closer. Not intrusive, not daring, just enough for her to feel his presence. Her breath caught in her chest. "Are you okay?" he asked. She nodded a lie. "Do you want me to leave?" She hesitated. For the first time in her life, Aria Vesper didn't know the correct answer. "No," she whispered. Her voice was barely audible, barely hers. Alex exhaled softly, relieved. He pulled out a chair and sat not across the room, but beside her. Close enough to be supportive, far enough to be respectful. It was the first time anyone had ever sat beside her in silence without expecting something in return. The truth she never admitted after several long minutes. Aria spoke, her voice quiet, stripped of armor. "You asked earlier why I walked away." Alex nodded. "It's because," she paused, her fingers trembling slightly, "I didn't know how to handle what you said." "What did I say?" "You asked me what I wanted." She laughed bitterly. "No one asks me that. People only ask what I can give." "And what do you want?" he asked softly. She didn't respond at first. Her eyes lowered to her lap. Her breath shivered. "I don't know," she whispered finally. Alex nodded gently. "That's okay." But she shook her head. "No, it's not okay. I can run $1 billion company. I can outthink, outwork, and outperform every competitor on the market. But I can't answer a simple question about myself." Maybe that question wasn't simple. She looked at him, really looked, and for the first time she didn't see pity, or admiration, or fear. She saw understanding. "You don't know me." Her voice tried to return to its usual sharpness, but it cracked mid-sentence. "You don't know me, Alex, no." He agreed, "but I'd like to." Her breath hitched. Her heart thudded once, loud, painful, real. No one had ever wanted to know her, not Aria the woman, only Aria the CEO. She felt something warm pierce through her cold exterior. Something dangerous, something she hadn't let herself feel in years. Hope, the fear she'd buried. "Alex," she whispered, "I don't let people close. I figured, it's not because I'm heartless. I know. It's because every time I've trusted someone, they've used it to hurt me, to betray me, to control me." He leaned forward slightly. "I'm not here to hurt you." Her lips parted as if to argue, then closed softly. Part of her wanted to believe him. Part of her was terrified to. A question that changes everything, a long silence. Then Alex asked the question she never saw coming. "Aria, what scares you the most?" She froze. Fear was a forbidden word in her vocabulary, but something inside her cracked open. She looked down at her hands, the hands that had signed billion-dollar contracts, fired executives, crushed negotiations, built empires. They were shaking, being alone. She whispered. Her voice broke on the last word. Alex didn't move. He didn't speak. He didn't push. He simply let her breathe. For the first time in years, Aria Vesper felt seen. A shift in the air. Aria wiped a tear quickly, too quickly, pretending it hadn't escaped. Alex pretended not to notice. The room softened. The atmosphere changed. The distance between them closed in more ways than one. Her voice steadied as she asked, "Why are you so different?" He smiled faintly. "I'm not different. I just don't want anything from you. Everyone wants something. Then maybe I'm the exception.
She looked at him for a long time, longer than she intended.
Something inside her shifted again. Something she couldn't name. Something she was afraid to examine. The beginning of something neither expected when they finally left the conference room. The office felt different. Quieter, warmer, less hostile, but the biggest change was between them. An invisible tension woven from vulnerability, curiosity, and something that neither of them wanted to admit yet. Alex wasn't just another employee anymore, and Arya wasn't just a CEO. Their story, whatever it was becoming, had only just begun.